after Louisville, it seems like the thing was 60-minute game. Has that been resonating in practice?
All these games are close. We have to play 60 minutes. These guys, they practice hard. They put a lot into it. They're close games, and we've come out on the wrong side of it a few times lately. So we have to, that's one of the things that we're definitely emphasizing is playing, one play at a time, play 60 minutes.
Bill, I know that you talked about knowing BC history and stuff. I'm not trying to make you go down a history lesson here, but what do you remember about how much the Syracuse game meant to Boston College in the 90s, 80s, that era?
Yeah, it's a great rivalry, which is what college football is all about, is these regional rivalries, which with conference expansion has kind of changed it a lot. But there's still these regional rivalries. Syracuse is a hell of a team. They're 6-2. Coach Brown does a great job there, and they're on a path to, obviously they qualified for a bowl, so they're on a path to have a really good season. We know it's going to be a very challenging game, but the rivalry, I've been involved with, Georgia Tech, Auburn, Alabama, Duke, North Carolina. I've been involved with a lot of rivalries, Maryland, Virginia, and this is one of those type of games. It's just two tough football teams going against each other.
2 bye weeks in about 4 weeks. The first one I know is, a lot of self-assessment. Is it less self-assessment, more sort of game planning, or did you guys self-assess again?
Definitely self-assess. Definitely take a look at those, the self-scout, see what we can do better individually, unit-wise, team-wise, and then obviously start to prepare for Syracuse on Sunday. But last week was all about BC and trying to get better, trying to get some guys healed up. That's another thing, is trying to get some guys, back healthy, ready to go. And, I think it's been a good couple of weeks here, and, we just got to finish this week strong and be ready to go on Saturday.
What's it like prepping for a quarterback who can throw 60 times a game?
Yeah, no, he's good. He's good. McCord's very good. He's very smart, very accurate, stands in there, delivers the ball. He's one of the reasons why they're 6-2. A lot of good players on their team, good running backs, good wide receivers, good tight ends, and he runs the show back there. He's done a really good job.
As much as you talk about 60 minutes, do you almost have to remind the kids how close they are?
Yeah.
Like looking at Louisville, a couple plays.
Yeah, it's one play here, it's one play there, it's momentum, it's, not riding the wave, and understand that, we have to answer some drives, right? If the opposing team offense goes down and scores, we need to answer that with a score. We can't, let it snowball, and we have to play better field position. Obviously, we've talked about punting incessantly this year. We got to punt better. So there's a lot of things we can do better. But these kids fight. They're fighting, and there's no quit. There's no lack of effort, no loafs, no anything like that. They just need to, when the plays are there to be made, they need to make the play and play 60 minutes.
They have 4 receivers with 35 or more catches.
Yeah.
So how do you package for that kind of
Very tough.
diversity?
Very tough. Very athletic. Very good. All of them are good. Pena does a great job. Great route runners. Good hands. So we got a challenge. We've got to, play one play at a time, and they're gonna make plays. Like, we have to do a good job of tackling. We have to be sound fundamentally. We've got to communicate well. They do a lot on offense. And so they're very versatile offense, and we have to have great communication.
How's Cam coming along?
Arnold, he's doing okay. Yeah, it's day to day. I would say maybe later in the week we would know more.
Health-wise in general, how do you guys look with the last 4 games coming up?
Health, you mean?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, okay. I think one of the things, just on that note, like this 105 rule going to 105, I think that's a brutal decision for college football. I think that's terrible. I think that eliminates, walk-ons that are heart and soul players. It really tests your ability to deal with injuries. So if you're at 105 and you have 20 guys that are banged up in November, 15 to 20 guys that are banged up, you do the math on that. It's hard to practice. And I think it just takes opportunities away from some great kids. That'll be next year, 105. But, that's just my opinion. Hopefully, maybe the powers that be. I heard Coach George O'Leary, who was, one of my mentors I worked for 8-9 years. He talked about having a commissioner for football. I think that's a good idea. Have an unbelievable retired football coach be the commissioner that helps make the rules, because the 105 roster limit, I think it's awful for college football. And that's just my opinion.
Just along those same lines, how much does it affect recruiting as well?
No, I mean,
If no.
yeah, no, I mean, our recruiting's going well. I would tell you, I can't obviously talk specifically on it, but I really like the way we recruit. I like this staff, the way they recruit. I like the guys that are committed to us. Clearly, they have to sign on the dotted line before we have them, but very, very happy with recruiting. I don't think it affects it that much. It's more about, like, there's a lot of guys, like when I was at Penn State, you know, the walk-ons were the heart and soul of the program. You know, then here, the walk-ons are heart and soul players. I mean, Joe Marinaro was a walk-on. He's a captain. And we gave him a scholarship this year, but, like, he was a walk-on. You know, heart and soul player whose dad played here, like, there's going to be less and less of those with 105. And so, you know, why not give kids that want to play, that can get into school here, you know, potentially sons of guys that played here, why not give them a chance to come out and play some football? To me, I think you have to think about having a practice squad. So when you do suffer, because every year's different, right? You do suffer a lot of injuries. Like, to me, you should be able to replenish your 105 with the practice squad, the JV team, so to speak, like, you know, similar to what was when freshman football or Ivy League, you know, JV teams back in the day. So that's just my 2 cents.
Another
I'll
football-
probably get in trouble, but that is what it is.
Another football question. Has the Sam linebacker been phased out of college football?
What do you mean, like, how do you mean Sam linebacker?
Well, strong side, you know, with the new hybrid.
You mean on the line of scrimmage?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a great question. I think there's a couple ways to look at that. I don't think it's been phased out, because you look at, like, guys like Q Hutchins for us. He's somewhat of a Sam linebacker. He can play a 3-4 Sam. He can play a 4-3 defensive end, and he can play at the second level off the ball. So as a Sam linebacker and a 4-3 Sam. So I don't think it's been phased out, but it's a more versatile player now. You know what I mean? You know, they were back in the day, right? You know, you look at some of the guys that played in some of the great defenses over the years. You know, Carl Banks and Lawrence Taylor, they were outside linebackers that became defensive ends in 4-down schemes. Willie McGinnis, right? Mike Vrabel, they were outside linebackers that became, you know, defensive ends in 4-down schemes and things like that. So it's similar to that. It's just more versatility.
The record being, you know, 500 being what it is, what's the mindset you guys, or you want these guys to have just for the final
Attack. These guys they're in a great frame of mind. They showed up to practice last week, this week. Great bunch of kids. Like I've always said, I love coaching them. You know, we're close. I realize close doesn't count, but we're making progress. And you know, I think these guys put a lot into it, and so you know, want to go out there and do the best we can and play as hard as we can and see what happens on Saturday.
Over these last 2 weeks on bye, what are some of the things you've tried to hone in on in the final stretch of the season?
Yeah, I think we looked at each other. We looked at ourselves, right, last week, and tried to improve in different areas. Whether it was, you know, obviously punting, passing game, stopping the run, you know, different things that we could do to help the players out as coaches, different things that the players could do to help themselves get better individually and as a unit. And then this week, you know, starting Sunday it's all about Syracuse, getting ready for a very, very good Syracuse team. You guys good? All right, thank you.
Thanks, Coach.